The end of the year is one of the busiest times for logistic businesses, particularly for the freight sector, and experts say managing the risks of the road should be a top priority. Let's look at how to minimize risks for the sector. South Africa continues to grapple with the infrastructural challenges and disruptions caused by ongoing strikes in both rail and port networks. For this conversation, I'm joined by Jason Mellow, head of MiWay Business Insurance. Jason, good evening. Can you provide an overview of the current landscape and challenges faced by businesses in the road freight sector, especially considering the growth in this mode of transport over the last 10 or so years?
Good evening, Hugo, and good evening to your viewers. Yes, there's a lot of pressure on the sector. We've heard last year, which was 2022, up to 34% of all traffic on the roads was road freight. And this sector is keeping our economy going. With it, certainly does come challenges. There's increased demand, there's increased loads, and there's a couple of factors that we maybe didn't have as much to contend with 10 years ago. Hugo, we're talking things like climate change, where we've seen floods, we've seen in KZN in 2022 and a few months ago here in the Western Cape. So the landscape has changed. The roads have deteriorated as a result. There's a lot of potholes. Some routes were simply closed. But our trucking sector is certainly resilient, and they're working hard to keep the economy going.
So we talk about pressure on the owners of the freight companies, but there's also, I'd imagine, an immense amount of pressure on you as a business. And you talk about 34%, which is slightly over a third of all traffic accidents being attributed to the freight industry. How are you deliberating, or what conversations are you having with some of your clients to try and mitigate this? Because obviously it's not the sort of risk that you want to take year in, year out.
Hugo, we do have these conversations, and our industry develops. We certainly in partnership with our clients. Some of our clients have got individual trucks, and we've got large fleets. So sometimes there are different conversations, but from our side, we have to develop, we have to move with what's the demands are. Certain routes we know are higher risk. But the conversations are about, in terms of risk mitigation, some of it is fairly simple. Make sure that your trucks are well maintained, especially this time of year. There's a massive pressure to get your deliveries out on time, and overloading trucks certainly increases risk. The conversations could be along the lines of make sure you plan your routes properly. Weather at this time of year, we've seen a lot of hail and, as I mentioned earlier, floods. So we need to be aware. We need to send out warnings where there's weather warnings to our MiWay clients. But it's also potentially using telematics. So yes, we do have to adapt. The risk landscape has changed. But it's opportunities. It's opportunities for our clients, and it's opportunity for us in the sector as well.
Now, I'm coming back to that 1 in 3 accidents being attributable to those in the road freight industry. What is acceptable?
It was 34%. Sorry, Hugo. It was 34% of road traffic was with trucks. So I'm not too sure if there's a direct correlation with the amount of accidents, but certainly there's pressure, yes.
Okay, so let's talk about adherence. I mean, one of the things that you've said moments ago is that you do have these conversations with your clients. What about adherence? Do you have a conversation and do your clients immediately adhere, or do you find that there might be pockets or gaps in there?
Yes, there always will be gaps. There's various levels of experience. Some clients have been in the game for many years. But we have to be consistent, and we make sure that our clients understand at sales stage, essentially, exactly what they're covered for and what they're not covered for. And the next stage, hopefully, we speak to them when they add to their vehicle, to their business, But at times it's conversations, and the difficult ones are at claim stage where our clients really need us, and we need to go the extra mile and make sure that we secure the driver and secure the truck in their loads.
So let's consider the various risks involved. Now, what financial protection strategies do businesses need to have in place, particularly in terms of insurance coverage for vehicle repairs, maintenance, collisions, and delays in deliveries? And I think delays in deliveries is absolutely critical when you take a look at what's been happening in Richards Bay in the last few months.
Yes. So in terms of insurance cover, it's very easy as an insurer to say you must go and get all the full cover for comprehensive cover, and that's obviously what we would like for our clients. But some clients, they're financially strapped. So at the very least, start with third-party cover. So if there's damage to a third party in their vehicle, at least you've got cover with that. Secondly is look at what your needs are. We've seen some people that insure the horse of their truck and not the trailer or the goods in transit. So we need to make sure all those things are covered. But clients do have a responsibility themselves. Training is a big aspect for their drivers, and they need to be aware of what to do in certain situations in terms of if there's a crime event such as a hijacking, how do they react? We need to make sure that once they've had an accident, they know what to do. Who do they phone? So there's a lot of financial demands on both the owner and their insurer. But the insurance side is certainly, I urge the sector to speak to the advisors, to speak to the insurer and work together. But the other financial cost, unfortunately, is advanced telematics. In our opinion, these devices certainly can help with risk mitigation and will be, in most times, discounted off your premium so that you're not worse off. But that can certainly reduce your risk significantly in the long term.
Now, Jason, as we wrap, I'd imagine that you spend a huge amount of resource on research and development and product development at that. Now, global warming and climate change is one of those things that was not a key factor 10 years ago when we started this conversation in reference. But now it is. I mean, you're talking about hailstones the size of big marbles and half the size of a cricket ball, that we've experienced recently. The floods in KwaZulu-Natal several months ago are all issues and factors to insurance that may not have been a factor several months ago. How does all this fit into your portfolio of product?
Well, we have to have cover for all of that. It just gets more expensive for the insurer to take out the reinsurance. But at the end of the day, the clients need to be covered for all of these events. And yes, it's a challenge we never had, but that's why we're here. In a very strange way, these major incidents, make people realize why insurance is so important. So there is a short-term cost, significant cost actually, but it does cement the need for our product. But yes, certainly we've seen a whole couple of events over the last few years that we never contended with. But it looks like these events are here to stay, certainly in the short term, so the industry must adapt.
Jason Mellow, head of MiWay Business Insurance, appreciate your time and wish you happy holidays.